Traveling by air these days is not described as a sacred experience by many people. This summer, we witnessed this firsthand as a mission team from Oxford Presbyterian Church traveled to Barranquilla, Colombia on a mission journey. We witnessed how exasperation was expressed at check-in counters and the gates just before boarding planes. We saw how long lines throughout the airports caused missed connections. So it was with great interest that I read a line over the past couple of days from a book written in the 1990s about Southwest Airlines. The book's title is Nuts: Southwest Airlines' Crazy Recipe for Business and Personal Success. In this book, the authors attribute much of Southwest Airlines' success to the practice that the airlines use to approach each passenger as, quote, to use Martin Buber's term of sacred vows, individuals who should be treated with utmost dignity. Sacred vows, vows spelled T-H-O-U-S. Martin Buber was a highly influential Jewish theologian from the 20th century. And his life's work called him to consider how we can have real relationships. And greatly simplifying his work, he offered this insight to all those around him. He said, we can often have two general types of relationships. One type is an I-it relationship. The other is an I-thou relationship. In an I-it relationship, we are with partners, friends, colleagues, neighbors, anyone on a surface level. It is a truncated relationship. We might be with them, but we are not present with them. We are not engaging life with them. We're talking at them. I-it relationships with God are transactional and merely utilitarian. On the other hand, Buber described I-thou relationships as deep calling to deep. They are authentic and transformative relationships. They are relationships like Moses had with God at the burning bush, or Elijah at the mountain with God, or Mary in the garden on Easter morning meeting the risen Lord. I-thou relationships with God truly transform us. My question for you this week: on balance, would you consider that your life has more I-it relationships or I-thou relationships? The Apostle Paul is writing to the church in Corinth in the passage that we continue to study this week, and he is pulling them from an I-it relationship with one another and with God into an I-thou relationship with fellow Christians and with their God. And one of the ways that Paul does this is through his encouragement for the Corinthians to give an offering to Christians in Jerusalem. This is called the Jerusalem offering. Christians in Jerusalem were experiencing a famine, and Paul invited the Corinthians to give out of their means as well as to give of their limited means so that they might bless those in Jerusalem. Paul is pulling them out of an I-it relationship into an I-thou relationship. And the Apostle Paul concludes with these words from our passage this week. Now, as you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in utmost eagerness, and in our love for you, so we want you to also excel in this generous undertaking. Friends, this week, may you excel in the generous undertaking of your I-thou relationships with God and with one another. Peace be with you.